Okay, I'm going to walk you through these operations with polynomials. Okay, a polynomial is a sum of monomials. We talked about monomials yesterday. So monomials are just single terms that are products of variables and numbers. There's a monomial, it's only one term. Okay, if something has two terms, 1, 2, we call that a binomial. Has three terms. That 2x squared is one term, that 3x is one term, and that 1 is one term. That's a trinomial. And for 4 or more terms, that's a polynomial. The degree of a polynomial, you have to figure out the degree of each term, and whichever term has the highest degree, that's the degree of the monomial, or that's the degree of the polynomial. So to find the degree of each term, so like this term, you take the exponents and you add them up. So that x has an exponent of 2, that y has an exponent of 3. So that has a degree of 5. Since that's the only term in the polynomial, the degree of the polynomial is 5. Okay. Here, the only variable in this term is an x, and it has a degree of 2. The only variable in this term is an x, and it has a degree of 1. So we have one term that has a degree of 2, one term that has a degree of 1. So the polynomial, the degree of the polynomial is 2. Okay. Again, this is the degree of 2. This is a degree of 1. This doesn't have a variable, so it has a degree of 0. And the degree of that whole thing is 2, because 2 is the highest. If we look here, the variable a has an exponent of 4. The variable b has an exponent 1. So you add those together. 4 plus 1 is 5. You get a degree of 5 for the first term. Again, here, the b has a degree of 1 and c has a degree of 2. We add those together and we get 3. Here, this next term has a degree of 2 and the last term has a degree of 0. And the degree of this whole polynomial is 5 because that's the biggest, the first term has the biggest degree. Okay. Operations with polynomials, if we flip it inside, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting and multiplying. Okay. When you subtract a polynomial from another one, basically the thing you have to keep track of is the subtraction sign. You're going to subtract 2x, you're going to subtract 3x, and you're going to subtract a negative 1. So basically what happens is all their signs end up changing. When you subtract a negative, it changes to a positive. So this 4x squared minus 5x plus 6, and we're going to take away a 2x and a 3x and a 1. Okay, so 4x squared minus 2x is 2x squared. A negative 5 minus 3 is a negative 8x, and 6 plus 1 is a positive 7. So there's your simplified expression there. Okay, on this one, we get you're just adding both of these. Okay, so the addition sign doesn't change the signs of anything. So we have a 6x squared plus a negative 4x squared, which is a 2x squared. We add a negative 7x and a positive 9, which is a positive 2x, and a 8 and a negative 5, which is a 3. Okay, both of these have a degree of 2 because their highest exponent, or the degree of the monomial that's the highest, is this 2. This has a degree of 2, this has a degree of 1, this has a degree of 0. 2 wins, and the same thing here. Okay, I want you to try these two on your own for practice, and then check back to get the answer. Here's the answer for C. This also has a degree of 2. Here's the answer, 5x squared minus x minus 5. These all have degrees of 2. Hopefully you got those right. Okay, the next one, we're multiplying down here, so we're multiplying this, we're multiplying this. Okay, if you have one term, you just distribute that one term. 3x times 2x squared, 3 times 2 is 6, x times x squared is x cubed. 3x times 4x, a negative 4x is a negative 12x squared, and then 3x times 6 is a positive 18x. Okay, that's your polynomial. Okay, and this one has a degree of 3 because that first term has the highest degree. The highest degree is 3. Here you have a binomial multiplied by a binomial. Your foiling. So you're going to do x times x, which is x squared, and x times 7, which is a positive 7x. Then we're going to distribute this negative 9 to both of those. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x, and negative 9 times 7 is a negative 63. We're going to combine the x's. 7x minus 9x is negative 2x, so you got x squared minus 2x minus 63. This also has a degree of 2. Okay. The next ones we're going to look at is what if you're multiplying a binomial times a trinomial, and it's kind of like this foiling method. You're just going to distribute x to all 3 terms. So x times x squared is x cubed. X times 4x is a positive 4x squared. X times negative 6 is a negative 6x. 2 times x squared is a positive 2x squared. 2 times negative 4x is a positive 8x. And 2 times negative 6 is a negative 12. Then you combine like terms. There's your x's. There's your x squareds. So we get an x cubed. We get a plus 6x squared. We get negative 6 plus 8 is a positive 2x. And then that negative 12. Okay. This again is a degree of 3 because we have an x cubed as your highest. Okay. The difference here, you have a trinomial by a binomial. You could distribute 2x to both of these and 3x to both of these and negative 1 to both of these. I like to just distribute the smaller polynomial. So I'm going to distribute 3x to this, to all 3 terms. So a negative 3x times 2x is a negative 6x cubed. Negative 3x times a positive 3 is a negative 9x squared. And then a negative times a negative is a positive, so positive 3x. Then we're going to distribute 2 to all 3 terms. So 2 times 2x squared is a positive 4x squared. 2 times 3x is a positive 6x, and 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. And then you can combine like terms. I have x squareds here, and I have x's here. So I have a negative 6x cubed. I have a negative 5x squared. Combine my x's, I have positive 9x, and then a negative 2. And that's your polynomial there. Okay, go ahead and try these two, and I will write down the answer shortly. Okay, here you should get 12x cubed minus 43x squared plus 53x minus 42. Once it's all simplified and you combine like terms. On this one, once everything simplifies, you get an x cubed minus 64 because you have terms when you distribute that end up canceling each other out. A negative 4 and a positive 4 cancel, a negative 16 and a positive 16 cancel. Okay, I'm going to work one word problem with you guys, and then we're going to call it quits. So